the M plus.
Yeah.
It's as minimalistic as it can be, but
Yeah.
it consists of 2 ingredients.
Well, literally 2. I mean, yes. I think I start probably best of where actually, because we didn't sit down with the team and go like, shit, what can we do now after we've done 5 molecules and 5 eccentrics? It wasn't like that. I mean, obviously I kept working on, I also did in the meantime fragrances for other brands and artists and other people who sort of had asked me to develop something for them. And the M plus actually came up when my girlfriend Sofie at the time, I realized that whenever I showed her fragrances I was working on, she would always like the ones where I had iris in them.
One of the most beautiful ingredients in perfumery.
True. And so I said, you really have a sweet spot for iris, don't you? And she said, I don't know what iris is. So I showed her some iris and she loved it and said, yeah, this smells really cool. And then she said, why don't you make me a fragrance just for myself, for once? I said, absolutely not a problem. So I thought about, okay, iris is probably the most delicate and thin, florally associated ingredient there is in perfumery. Exactly.
It's not really a floral.
Exactly.
I mean, it takes years to...
Yes, it's highly complicated and it is not the flower which smells, it is the root. So the root needs to be stored dry and cold and dark for years before you actually grab it and then extract it. And when you extract it at the right time, you get a very powdery, fresh, but also almost like a bitter, woody note, which if you were to add it to a traditional fragrance, I mean, one of the best examples is probably Chanel 19, which has a big iris note and lots of it. If you were to smell this with the iris and without, that makes you understand what iris does to a fragrance. It gives radiance, it softens it, it gives a velvety, cocooning creaminess almost, which is not to be understood unless you smell it in a fragrance, which makes you realize what it does to a fragrance. If you were to show iris on the street to people, I would be very surprised if somebody goes, oh, that smells fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's that abstract, really. And so I thought, because it is so delicate and not as powerful as, let's say, a rose or a jasmine or other flowers, I thought I can't put lots against it because then we would lose the power of the iris itself.
Yeah.
So, being lazy, I thought, let me just check out what ISO Super and iris do together. So I made my own iris base, which consists of 4 ingredients to form my iris note, my ideal iris note, if you like. And then had lots of Molecule 1, lots of ISO Super with it, and about 15% of hedione. So this iris base, hedione, and 70% of IC Super. And already, I remember one of the first 2 trials smelled absolutely great. It was so delicate, it was so subtle, but so modern and beautiful. And I thought, that's exactly how I want a modern woman to smell. Gave it to Sofie, she started wearing it. I started to refine the accord, and she kept getting comments from her colleagues.
There you
People
go.
stopped her on the street.
Yeah.
And that was the best sign that actually we've got something there. I then sent a sample to my boys in London. They smelled it, they made their own tests, they had similar results to mine. And then I thought, hey guys, we really got something here. What do we do with it? And then I said, well, if I look at the formula, it actually is Molecule 1 plus 1, because it is just plus iris. That's the dominant accord. The other ingredients in it, they're not really important. So it's MO1 plus iris. So it is
and they're
M
complementary
plus.
to each other.
Yeah, and they did very much complement each other. And then the concept kind of was born. It was M plus, and ever since then we launched M plus iris, M plus mandarin, M plus patchouli. And I also then noticed that sometimes when I would try certain naturals together with IC Super, sometimes that didn't work. They would suffocate each other rather than make each other bloom. And so that's why we had mandarin and patchouli, because that worked really well. And now we just recently launched another 3, which is M plus ginger, M plus black tea, and M plus guaiac wood. And just launched them, so now we have 6 M plus, 5 molecules, 5 eccentrics, and I mean, just look at it. That's quite a few bottles there.
Exactly. So, the M plus, basically, what I love about it is that it's so complex, yet it's only comprised of more or less 2 ingredients. But when you smell it, it's like less is more. It's really all about the brand. Less is more. And whenever you smell even a new ginger, it's like so many facets to it. Sometimes you would smell a bit lemon and a bit mint and something fresh, but also bitterness and sweetness. And it's really like a perfect example when you don't have to have so many ingredients in order to create something really great. And so what can you expect when wearing, except for get a lot of compliments from the fragrance? Would you, because sometimes you would hear from people, oh yeah, but I really like to layer it and stuff like that. And I'm always, why would you layer something which is already a great perfume? So, and I remember you were saying like it's either.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised that people layer, but it's obviously what happens. And some people think that if they have their fragrance and then they're going to put Molecule 1 on top of it, you know what? Why not? But I mean, I would just always say, look, you go to a restaurant and then you order food and you order one thing because that's what you want to eat. Nobody orders a pizza and then has pasta thrown on top of it and eats it all together. Yeah, you could do that, but it's really, I think layering has kind of came up for people to sort of think, oh, I can be creative here. And fair enough so. I mean, why, who are we?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are we to dictate how people should wear a fragrance? If they feel I like M plus Iris, but I also like, Eccentric 04, and I just mix them together, great, why not?
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it, but, each product we do stands for itself and shouldn't be layered, but if people makes them happy, fabulous.
Fair enough.